This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. An appeals court says Wisconsin regulators have to develop PFAS restrictions before mandating cleanups. The ruling is a win for businesses in Wisconsin. Attorney General Josh Kaul says he'll appeal the case to the state Supreme Court. Kaul says having to work with lawmakers will slow down the enforcement of new clean drinking water rules. A long-awaited new engineering building will go up at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Governor Evers is giving final approval to $700 million worth of new construction projects across the UW system. There's money for classroom renovations in Madison and Whitewater and nearly $200 million for central plant renovations and demolition projects. University of Wisconsin campuses will keep more tuition money from Minnesota students from now on. Governor Evers is giving final approval to changes to Wisconsin's reciprocity agreement with Minnesota. Extra money from Minnesota students' tuition used to go to the state's general fund. Republicans are slamming Vice President Kamala Harris after yesterday's Wisconsin visit. Congressman Brian Stiles says she's trying to distract from the Biden administration's record.
There's a reason Vice President Harris didn't come and speak to people who are checking out at a grocery store, because she'd get an earful about how this administration's policies are making it harder and harder for families to get by.
Wisconsin Republican Party Chairman Brian Schimming.
The very same working people that she was standing in front of have been the most punished under this administration. That is demonstrably true.
Harris was in Madison to talk about apprenticeships in the trades and infrastructure. 2 of the 4 inmates found dead at the Waupun State Prison since June died of a drug overdose and a stroke. Tyshawn Lemons and Cameron Williams died in October. Medical examiners are still investigating 2 other deaths at the prison. Some inmates sued the Corrections Department last fall over what they call grossly inadequate health care. Organic farmers say producers and consumers are better off now that a federal court is banning the use of the pesticide dicamba. George Naylor says it wasn't worth it.
I could see my soil deteriorating, and I also looked at the price of what herbicide was going to cost me one year, and I go, jeepers creepers, so I just will try organic.
The Center for Food Safety says dicamba might have affected as many as 1 in every 6 acres of ultra-sensitive soybeans. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Green Bay small business owner Jamie Wall announces his bid for the newly drawn 30th State Senate District. Wall, a Democrat, says he wants to be a state senator who will fight for regular people.
I don't have a magic wand. I can't tell you that if I'm elected, I'm going to solve all the world's problems overnight, but I can push in the right direction. And I can tell you that I'm going to make every decision with people who sent me to Madison in mind, and particularly the people who need somebody on their side.
Wall is challenging incumbent Republican Eric Wimberger. A Green Bay woman is sentenced to 8 years in prison and 5 years extended supervision for carjacking outside of a hospital. 18-year-old Chloe Zellner is convicted of operating a vehicle without consent with the use of a weapon and substantial battery for the September 2022 incident. A juvenile was also charged for the attack, which happened outside of HSHS St. Mary's Hospital Medical Center in Green Bay. To prevent downtown violence, the city of Appleton recommends 3 proposals: more streetlights downtown, cameras at businesses that serve alcohol, and limiting food truck hours. Last night, the council approved spending $15,000 on more streetlights on Walnut Street. The proposals come after multiple shootings in the downtown area this winter. Seymour Community Schools are asking voters to approve a referendum for $15 million in additional operational funds over the revenue limit during the April 2nd election. District Administrator Kelly Bond says that the additional money would help the school meet its operational budget without increasing tax rates. Declining enrollment and inflation are causing many Wisconsin school districts to consolidate schools or to go to referendums. Ready Wisconsin is encouraging everyone to have an emergency plan in place, especially now as we approach spring and summer and the unpredictable weather that it can bring. The risk of flooding and severe weather increases with the warmer temperatures. Residents should have an emergency plan and an emergency kit with 72 hours worth of essential supplies, such as water, food, flashlights, and a first aid kit in case of a weather disaster. A Green Bay man is scheduled to make his second appearance in the Jeopardy! Tournament of Champions today. Earlier this week, Ben Chan, a philosophy professor at St. Norbert College, collected $29,800 to win his quarterfinal match and advance to the semifinals.
I knew I'd bring my A-plus game. So I was, I'd been prepared for months thinking about this one game, so I was very dialed in. Yeah.
Chan says he is more anxious prepping for the appearance than actually competing.
One of the things that I like about Jeopardy is being on stage, getting 60 clues in really 15 minutes when you take out the interviews and the commercial breaks. It's very freeing because there's no time to be anxious.
Chan is a 9-time Jeopardy! Champion who's won over $250,000 during his appearances. He'll take on Jared Watson and Celebrity Jeopardy! Champion Ike Barinholtz in the first game of the semifinals today. Jeopardy! Airs locally on Fox 11 at 6 p.m. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
Partly to mostly cloudy today. We'll get to around 50 for a high this afternoon. The wind out of the southeast at 5 to 15. Tonight, becoming cloudy with some showers after midnight. Our low 34. Tomorrow, some rain likely. We could get a quarter inch or more with a high of 44. Little snow can mix in with the rain tomorrow night before it all ends on Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Current temp now 37.
Bucks lose to Golden State. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks had their 6-game winning streak snapped, losing to the Golden State Warriors, 125-90. Milwaukee down by 20 at the half, but Doc Rivers says don't get mad about their defense.
This is the first night in a long time where we just didn't play together. Our floor balance was so bad. We took so many bad shots. We had so many bad possessions that when we got back, we were never matched up, and they took advantage of it.
The Bucks road trip continues in L.A. against the Lakers tomorrow night. In Arizona, the Brewers had a split doubleheader, half the team playing the Cleveland Guardians in a 3-3 tie. Backup catcher Eric Haas playing well, the other half losing to the Reds 2-0. In Green Bay, the Girls State High School basketball tournament is underway at the Resch Center. The finals on Saturday. Tonight in Madison, it's the Badgers against Rutgers.
You continue to push. You continue to reward the guys that are playing winning basketball and then helping the guys that are trying to find that space for them.
That's Badgers head basketball coach Greg Gard. Hockey, 2 Badgers players, forward Kirsten Sims and defender Caroline Harvey, rewarded as the best at their positions by the Women's Collegiate Hockey Association. The Badgers women's team in Minnesota this weekend for the final face-off tournament. College basketball, Marquette losing to number 2 ranked UConn, 74-67. Head coach Shaka Smart.
Congrats to Coach Hurley and UConn. They did a heck of a job making us pay.
The Huskies head coach Dan Hurley.
It's a privilege, every time we get a chance to play Marquette and what Shaka's built here. 2 championship-level programs took the court. Obviously, we're thrilled with the win.
In the front row at Fiserv Forum was Packers head coach Matt LaFleur and the Bears' Matt Eberflus. Whenever they put LaFleur's face up on the scoreboard, the fans cheered, and every time they showed Eberflus, the crowd booed. That's sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Pete with the 60-second Showbiz Beat. Despite what have been called Oscar snubs of Barbie director Greta Gerwig and star Margot Robbie, there is good news for women in general when it comes to the Academy Awards. The Annenberg Inclusion Initiative did a study that reports that 32% of this year's Academy Award nominees are women. That ties the all-time high reached in 2021. There was also an uptick in nominations for people of color. The study says despite that bit of progress, are still far underrepresented overall. Steve! Exclamation point included. That is the name of the new 2-part documentary about Steve Martin. Martin has had such an amazing career, you could do a 2-year series. The Only Murders in the Building star talks about his amazing career in films including Father of the Bride, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, and The Jerk. What some people might not know is Martin can also sing and dance and was a hilarious stand-up comic who used to sell out arenas. The documentary about the wild and crazy guy drops March 29th on Apple TV. Comedian Sinbad has been working the road to recovery. The New York Post reports the 67-year-old performer and star of The Sinbad Show suffered a stroke in 2020. He made his first appearance on social media in over a year when he joined the cast of A Different World on Zoom and thanked fans for their support and prayers. Sinbad had to learn how to walk all over again. The comedian, who in addition to being a consummate performing pro, also has a reputation for being a really nice guy. The show must not go on. TMZ reports that actor stand-up comedian Nick Swartzen was escorted off the stage in the the middle of a performance in Beaver Creek, Colorado. Schwartzen admitted to being under the influence and incoherent to the point where management turned his mic off. He took to Twitter the next day and said he would make it up to his fans and blamed his incoherent state on alcohol, edibles, and the altitude. Yes, even with chemicals, Nick is much funnier at sea level. Dakota Johnson has lots to say about her box office flop, Marvel's Madam Web, a film about a Manhattan paramedic who can see and change the future. Some critics are calling it one of the worst superhero movies ever made. Johnson doesn't totally disagree, adding that the script they ended up shooting was different than the one they sent her initially. Haha. That old bit. They sent her Oppenheimer? The actress says it was not fun to be part of something that was ripped to shreds. Her character in Madam Web would have predicted this. There is good news for fans of TV's Cooper Family. Young Sheldon is in its final season, but there will be a spin-off of the Big Bang Theory spin-off. People magazine reports Emily Osment and Montana Jordan will continue their roles as Mandy McAllister and Georgie Cooper. The show is yet another prequel to the Big Bang Theory. There are only so many prequels executive producer Chuck Lorre can do until they announce a fall lineup, which includes Sheldon in utero, and he'd still be smarter than everyone. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM.